हसरत है हमारी बाबा, कर दो वो पूरी आके। मिल जाओ प्यारे बाबा हम बच्चों से आके। मिल जाओ प्यारे बाबा हम बच्चों से आके।
संगम युग के सुख और स्विचों को इमर्ज रखो। बिजी होने के कारण बुद्धि बिजी रहती है ना, तो स्मृति मर्ज हो जाती। आप सोचो, सारे दिन में किसी से भी पूछे कि बाप याद रहता है, बोलता है बाप, तो क्या कहेंगे? नो। अच्छा, ये तो राइट है कि याद रहता है, लेकिन ये मर्ज रूप में रहता है या मर्ज रहता है? स्थिति क्या होती है? ये मर्ज रूप की स्थिति और मर्ज रूप की स्थिति, इसमें अंतर है अंतर है, बाटा है अंतर। तो क्यों नहीं इमर्ज रूप में रखते? इमर्ज रूप का नशा, शक्ति, सहयोग, सफलता बहुत बड़ी है। याद तो बोल नहीं सकते, क्योंकि एक जन्म का पता नहीं है। चाहे शिव बाप सतयुग में साथ नहीं होगा, लेकिन नाता तो यही रहेगा ना। बोल नहीं सकता है, ये राइट है। हाँ, कोई विघ्न की वश हो जाती है तो बोल भी जाता है, लेकिन वैसे जो नेचुरल रूप में रहते हो तो बोलता नहीं है, लेकिन मर्ज रहता है। इसलिए बाप दादा कहते हैं, बार बार चेक करो कि साथ का अनुभव मर्ज रूप में है या इमर्ज रूप में। प्यार तो है ही, प्यार टूट सकता है, नहीं टूट सकता ना, तो प्यार नहीं टूट सकता, तो प्यार का फायदा तो उठाओ।
बड़ी मन भावनी मुरली प्रेम से प्राणों को सींचे। रसीली तान की ये डोर आपकी ओर ही खींचे, आपकी ओर ही खींचे। रूहानी स्नेह का जादू आपकी मीठी बातों में, रूहानी स्नेह का जादू आपकी मीठी
Om Shanti. Perform the dance of harmonizing sanskars. Develop a godly nature. Always try to make your behavior, thoughts, words, and deeds such that they give happiness. This is the system of the Brahmin clan. In order to harmonize sanskars, there has to be a meeting of hearts. For this, you will have to forget some things, erase some things, and accommodate some things. Even words such as, "This is my sanskar," should no longer emerge. You have to erase everything to the extent that the nature of the past is changed and you develop a godly nature. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Welcome to Avikti Parivar. Today's day 10. Perform the dance of harmonizing sanskars. Today's topic: develop a godly nature. Now we will listen to Mohini Didi.
Om Shanti. There is always this big question about human nature, and it's very much connected with inner deep feelings and our understanding, self-trust, many things. So for us, we are God's children. So we keep in mind God's nature. Nature actually are one's own qualities, like virtues. So we all have recognition of God. We know that there are certain very, very fundamental, basic qualities of God. Like we say, God is truth, God is love, God is divine, God is peace. So we have to make the list of godly qualities. And then from those qualities, one of the important quality of God is remover of sorrow and giver of happiness. How we do that? So Baba is in his Avyakta signals explaining us that always try to make your behavior, thoughts, words and actions such that they give happiness. It is necessary that everyone is happy, because then the vibrations are good, their thoughts are good. It's like a lot of blessings come. So Baba is saying that this is the system of the Brahmin clan. In order to harmonize sanskars, there has to be a meeting of hearts. Internally, good feelings for everyone, good wishes for everyone. Baba says for this, you will have to forget some of the things. Baba says, erase some of the things and accommodate some things. Even the words such as, "This is my sanskar," should no longer emerge. You have to erase everything to the extent that the nature of the past is change, and you adopt God's nature. I'm finding it very fascinating, very, very interesting when we will do this homework. How much natural deep connection with God or Baba will be there. We always compare with each other souls. That Baba says, compare with me, follow me, and adopt to all my qualities and the nature. And it must be God who is saying it, because his heart is generous. So he's encouraging us to be like him. And generally, in Lokik way, people will say, don't try to be like me, because they won't like you to become like them. But because we are God's children, God is creating a beautiful divine world of peace and happiness. So he wants all the children to be of that nature. It's such an interesting thing that God's task actually is to create such a world where everyone is happy, everyone is loveful, everyone is very sweet. So he wants Baba, wants all his children, and which Baba is calling as Brahman culture, where we have all these beautiful qualities. So each one of you should think about what is God's nature, what exactly is God's nature. That can come not through words, but what do you feel from God? When you think of God, what kind of feelings emerge? Those are the qualities in God. It's not we think of God and we feel sad. No, we feel happy. So it's very, very loving topic that we all have to have God's nature. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti Avyakti Parivar. Good evening from St. Martin. And those of you who don't know where St. Martin is, it is in the Caribbean, and it is a country that is actually very small, very beautiful, very hot, and it is like two cultures. It's on one side is the Dutch, and on the other side it's the French. Very exotic. I'm in the Dutch quarters talking to you this evening. So Om Shanti Parivar and Om Shanti Shireen Ben.
Om Shanti Gayatri Ben, Om Shanti Avyakti Parivar. Good evening, everyone. Lovely to hear from you from St. Martin.
Yes, it's beautiful here. It's really very beautiful. It's very small, but very beautiful.
I was thinking about what Didi was saying about God's qualities. When you came to Baba, what was the quality of Baba that really attracted you?
His love for me. That was the strongest quality. And I think it was not, it was a love that was extremely intimate, a love in which I knew he knew me. He knew the good, the bad, and the ugly. And it was also a love of a father. So whenever I look into Baba's eyes, the first and foremost relationship I have with him is he's my father. So that love of protection, the love of guidance, the love of wanting the best for me. But I think he also knew that I use my intellect a lot. And I feel that he over and over, but it's in the Murli, but even when I would meet him personally, I would get a very strong feeling that he spoke to the love in my intellect more than to the love in my heart.
Interesting. The other question I had was about happiness. So this whole thing about giving happiness, where does me giving happiness start, and where does them taking sorrow? So if I'm not doing anything, but what is the line between people taking sorrow and me giving sorrow, or me giving happiness and they're not taking happiness, but they're taking sorrow?
Well, giving and taking is very subjective on both sides. So I may make my effort, and I may be working within a certain framework. Like for me, happiness, when Baba says that knowledge gives happiness, it makes a lot of sense to me, because I'm the most happy when I understand something. And on the basis of that understanding, I'm implementing it. I'm applying it to my life. And that gives me a lot of happiness, and I'm seeing how it's working. But other people may be giving and receiving happiness as a feeling from the heart, as a feeling of empathizing, as a feeling of making sure the other receives, even if I have to compromise on what matters to me. But I feel that that is a kind of a temporary happiness that's offered, and it may be required. And so I'm giving the happiness based on how I know the person will receive it from me. That's one way of giving it. Or I'm giving the happiness because I understand something and I need the person. If Sister Mohini is asking me to do something, for instance, I just wouldn't report to her based on what, Shireen, I feel you need and would make you happy. But I would refer to her based on my understanding of something. But the intent is to bring happiness to the people and to the place and to the situation. And then I know that Sister Mohini would take that to a higher level. And then she would look at happiness from a more spiritual perspective. In other words, from a more sustainable perspective, in which it is not just a happiness in the now, but it's a happiness forever. It's a happiness that will help this person, help me, help you, help whoever is she's concerned about in the moment. So it kind of stays with the person, and it continues in that way, which I call sustainable for the person and for whatever the role the person is playing. So happiness in terms of receiving, I think, is very different, and happiness from giving is very different. And so it's two people coming together with the space in the middle, and the happiness has to be worked out.
Right. Yesterday Didi said something which was very interesting. She was saying that I was asking the question, how can we have as much yoga as the Dadis? And she was saying that the Dadis' understanding of things was based on dharana from knowledge. And so what you're saying is similar. Like there has to be the foundation of the dharana should be knowledge, not my heart feels good and all of these things. But if someone is misbehaving, like the understanding, oh, it's a soul playing a part, it's the drama, whatever, right? I mean, that is dharana based on knowledge. And so if we don't have dharana based on knowledge, then happiness is harder to come by. But I'm beginning to feel that even though I have, or more than them, it's not like I'm saying I have a lot. If I'm interacting with someone and I have more than them, dharana based on knowledge, and they have a little less maybe, and they're taking sorrow, I feel the onus is on me to somehow come to their level to give happiness. I've been thinking about this, that if they're taking sorrow, there's something I am also contributing. I can't just say, oh, they're taking sorrow, it's their problem.
Yeah, but I don't think the onus is on any human being to give happiness. I think the onus is on us becoming instruments so that Baba can give the happiness through us. Because why do I say that? Because we're limited in understanding what the person needs, and we are connected to what the person wants. And I think that if I want, the onus is on me to make that person happy, then I will respond to what they want from me in this moment. But I tend to come from, and this is why this godly nature is very interested. I would love for my nature to be like God, because it's a fascinating way. God's nature, God's conscience, they work very differently from human beings. But where I would come from, and I don't know if it makes me a good or a bad instrument, but it makes me someone that is looking at my own nature in terms of responding and wanting it to be like Baba's. So where I would come from would be what does the person need, and how is this need going to contribute to the bigger yagya? And I would respond to that need. And ultimately, if I'm wrong, I would have to correct whatever I did that triggered the sorrow in the person. But if it was something I did with the purest of intent, both for the person and for the yagya, then I know it would work itself out. And that is why I love what Baba said today. When it's the meeting of hearts there, and if it comes to the point in which I know that I may have been wrong and I may have triggered sorrow in that person and I may have caused them grief, then when it comes to the harmony, I know you have to harmonize something when you realize it, of course. And what he's saying is that first of all, the hearts have to meet. In other words, I have to be very genuinely sorry that I gave sorrow to that person's heart. And as Baba says, anger may take 6 months to get rid of, but when you give pain to someone's heart, it is like a forever thing. It takes you a lifetime to really correct it. So what he's saying is that, first of all, your hearts have to meet. The recognition of what you triggered to cause the sorrow must be there. And then he said it so beautifully. Then you have to forget. Then you have to erase, and then you have to accommodate. And I think that when it comes to giving and taking happiness and giving and taking sorrow, I think it's all something of the heart. And so even though the dharana may be based on knowledge, and I may be applying that knowledge to fulfilling the needs of the person in the yajna, when it gets expressed, it's a matter of the heart. And so it's got to be corrected at the level of the heart. And of course, he's saying that would harmonize the divine and the eternal sanskaras if you go through that process.
Right, right. So you were talking, and Didi was also talking about Baba's nature. So at this point, which Baba's nature are you thinking that the prominent one that you need to really cultivate right now?
A detached observer. I love when Baba says that he is a detached observer, and he comes and he does things, he does his 3 divine acts. Some people don't like the word God, but he is a detached observer. He looks at all his children on the tree. Some believe in him, some don't believe in him, atheists, agnostics, theists, they all exist. And so that detached observer, which is something that Baba's nature is an incredible thing to have in your nature. Plus, knowing everything that's going on. As I said, he knew the good, the bad, and the ugly in me. But when I was in front of him, even when he was correcting me, and Avyak Bapdada did correct me on a number of occasions, I was in tune with what he wanted me to learn. And so I feel that a detached observer is like a lifelong learning student for me. I'm observing and I'm learning, and it's correcting whatever is wrong within me. And so it's very easy to be a detached observer to others, but it's very, very, it's easy to do that with others, but it's very difficult to do it with yourself.
Right.
Because to be a detached observer and to know that what you have to change and what you have to learn, but even to appreciate things about yourself, sometimes we don't because we're so much judging ourselves. We can't even appreciate the beauty within ourselves. And so to be a detached observer is one of God's incredible nature, which I'd like to have.
Wonderful. For me, I was thinking something very similar, neutrality with which he sees everything. It's similar, but I've been really thinking about neutrality. Like whenever Baba says in the Murli, he says, no one is to be blamed, right? I mean, you could, for whatever has happened, it's not like if I've made mistakes, it's not like I'm not owning up, but let's say something has happened. It's not like I'm blaming myself or blaming someone else, but just coming into that neutral state of no one is to be blamed. Or this neutral state of, it's okay. It's, yes, there is a right. Yes, there is wrong. Yes, there's Srimad and all of these things. But I need to look at this very neutral with a non-duality vision. How Baba really, he says all of this has happened and then he just says drama, like the way the whole attitude that he has towards what's happening is so neutral and he totally understands the drama in that.
And also he knows he can't change it. So
Right.
neutrality is about that which I'm not going to change because I know I can't change it, and to accept it for what it is. But I want to ask you a question, Shireen.
Sure.
When you first met Baba, did he give you a drishti that you felt he was neutral when he was looking at you?
No, it was a lot of love, lot of love. I met some of the dadis, right, before I met Baba. And both Dadi Janki's drishti and Dadi Kumarka's drishti were full of love, right? Like it was something very different, like the drishti, right? I didn't know what I was receiving and I couldn't put words into it. And then when I met Baba, I just felt this overflowing of love from inside. Even though when I connected with Baba, I connected with the ocean of knowledge. But when I went in front of him, it was the love. It was just the overpouring of love. But over the years, right? Like love, yes, but now it just feels like I want to stay in this duality, in this non-duality neutral state.
And are you looking at the time, or are we going on too much?
No,
Okay.
we are good.
All right.
Have a couple more minutes.
Well, if he didn't see you with a drishti of neutrality, then do you think that he looks at the drama with a vision of neutrality, but when it comes to his children, he is not so neutral?
It must be, right? Even his children, if let's say some of his children, like he says, some of them, go against Srimad and do, defamed Baba's name or something like that, right? He is love, but I guess in some instances, I feel he does look at people with neutrality too.
Maybe when he looks at us in our perfect and our complete form, that would be a drishti of neutrality. But why I'm asking is because I always feel, not just from the way I experience Baba looking at me, but I also feel when he looked at others, like you're going to be reading, I don't know if you read Sunday's Murli coming Sunday, but I read it on the plane coming over. And he's talking and he's talking about something, and then he suddenly picked on Sister Jayanti, and he says, Jayanti, it will happen, won't it? And so sometimes I think he's not neutral there, he's saying,
No, definitely not.
suddenly this whole thing he's putting on Jayanti. And so I feel that sometimes, and this is why I suppose I love God. I love Bap Dada because I know that he is himself in the moment, and whatever it is he has to express in the moment, he does it, and he doesn't have to apologize for saying what he said. He doesn't have to be neutral then. And even though people may say that your God is not a neutral God, I said he was never intended to be neutral. Because when it comes to relationships with souls, I don't think that it requires neutrality. I think it requires
It's a really interesting topic, Gayatri. It's a very interesting topic because I always used to think God doesn't play favorites, right? But now I'm thinking maybe God does play favorites. Right? So it's a very interesting topic.
Yes. I don't know if I'd say he plays favorite, but I just say he shows up and he expresses whatever he needs to express in that moment. And he does it with a lot of truth, with a lot of authenticity, with a lot of purity. And so no one could question it. And so
yes,
that was
he shows up for anyone who shows up for him.
right.
Right. He's, even yesterday or something, or today, he said, I only talk to my children. So if I'm showing up, he's showing up.
And who's listening? I'm talking to the world, but who are listening? My children. So I turn to my children because they're listening. So yes, it's very fascinating, Baba's nature. And if we could understand that God has a nature and God has a conscience, and he's calling it godly nature and godly conscience, and we just transcend the limitations of human conscience and or human nature, and just try and understand the uniqueness of God's nature and how he expresses it. And the way we would expect him to express it is not necessarily the way he expresses it. And so can I be in tune with the way he's expressing his nature and not just say, this is how religion taught me, or this is how the elders taught me, or this is how God is supposed to be. God isn't supposed to be anything. God is supposed to be who God is. And I think that is
and we are supposed to understand who he is, not put him in a hole like we want him to be in a hole.
Exactly. So it was really lovely chatting with you. And thank you for coming on tonight. I am sure Sister Mohini appreciates it. You're always ever ready, Shireen.
Thank you for the blessing. It was my pleasure. Very interesting topic.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
हमने मुलाकात
Om Shanti. Om Shanti.
संगम युग का वर्षा यही है, शिव से मिलन मनाना। समय श्वास संकल्प सभी सेवा में लगाना। पवित्रता बरसाए जग में, पवित्रता बरसाए जग में। फरिश्ता झलक तुम्हारी, फरिश्ता झलक तुम्हारी। शिव पिता ने दी है तुमको, शिव पिता ने दी है तुमको श्रीमत कितनी प्यारी, श्रीमत कितनी प्यारी। मीठे बच्चों, प्यारे बच्चों।
उनके साथ के जीवन के प्रसंग जो है ना, उसके बारे में बताऊंगा। उसमें लास्ट 40 मिनट जो है 10:15 तक करूंगा। मम्मा की जो अंतिम दिने जो है अप्रैल 64 से, जब मम्मा ने ये स्थूल शरीर छोड़ा, तब तक का बहुत ही गहरी अनुभूति का वो विषय है। क्योंकि ये मेरा कनेक्शन अपने यज्ञ के कई महारथी बहन भाइयों के साथ, उनके शरीर छूटने के, जैसे मम्मा का, जैसे लौकिक ब्रह्मा बाबा की लौकिक युगल जसोदा माता है, दादी पुष्प शांता, ब्रिजेंद्र दादी, आत्म मोहिनी दादी, बड़ी दीदी, विश्व किशोर दादा, ऐसे ही मम्मा इन सब के साथ में उनके अंतिम क्षणों के साथ साथ थोड़ा सा संबंध संपर्क रहा। हर एक की अपनी अपनी स्थिति, अंतिम समय की स्थिति का कभी एक मौका मिला तो इन सभी जो भी बड़े बड़े हैं उन सब की अंतिम अवस्था का और अंतिम दिनों का किस प्रकार से इन्होंने अंतिम क्षण अनुभव की, फेस की, वो आपको बता सकूंगा। मैं मम्मा के बारे में बता रहा था। हम लोग यहाँ ही थे और मम्मा हापुड़ आदि का चक्कर लगा करके यहाँ आए। शाम को दिल्ली के भाई बहनों ने और जगह के भाई बहनों ने मम्मा का स्वागत भी किया, सब कुछ हुआ। बाद में रात में बाबा, मम्मा और मैं बैठा हुआ था। मम्मा ने वर्णन किया कि ऐसे हापुड़ में हुआ है, हंगामा हो रहा है, आर्य समाजी लोग ऐसा करते हैं, इन्होंने पानी बंद कर दिया, लेटरिन सफाई करने वाले को बंद कर दिया, बहुत कुछ परिस्थितियां हमारे विरुद्ध में कर दी थी। वो सारी बातें सुनता रहा, मैं सुनता रहा। बाबा मम्मा दोनों लेन देन करते थे, मैं सुनता रहा। तो मेरे मन में एक प्रश्न उठा। मैंने मम्मा को सवाल पूछा कि हापुड़ की ऐसी परिस्थिति जो है, आप देख करके आए और आप सुना भी रहे, बाबा सुन भी रहे हैं, तो आप कोई इन परिस्थिति या इन प्रॉब्लम्स, परीक्षाएं जो है, इनसे आपके दिल में हलचल उत्पन्न नहीं होती है? आप जानते हैं हमारे सामने तो हाँ छोटी सी बात होती है, एक छोटा सा कॉकरोच भी आ जाता है तो भी हाँ दो दिन पहले दादी जी पार्टी से अपने टीचरों से पूछ रही थी कि आप में से कॉकरोच से कौन डरता है, चूहे से कौन डरता है। ऐसे हम लोग तो इतने छोटी सी बात में हलचल में आ जाते हैं। और ये तो हापुड़ की बहुत बड़ा भारी केस हुआ था, आर्य समाजियों ने बहुत कुछ किया हुआ था, हंगामा। हमारे संतराम भाई और भी जो भी उस टाइम पर वहाँ पर जो थे मौजूद, वो आपको डिटेल में उसको समझा सकते हैं। तो मम्मा ने कहा नहीं, हमें हलचल नहीं होती है। मैंने कहा क्यों नहीं होती है? तो मम्मा ने कहा कि हम बाबा के सामने भी देख करके उन्होंने बोला, मना हम बाबा मम्मा दोनों का ही इसमें पार्ट है। कहा कि हमें एक बात का पक्का निश्चय है कि 5000 वर्ष पहले जैसे स्थापना हुई थी ऐसे अब हो रही है, और इसलिए उसके अंदर चढ़ाव उतराव आदि जो भी आने वाला है, 5000 वर्ष पहले भी इसी प्रकार से चढ़ाव उतराव ऊपर नीचे बातें आई हुई थी। बातें आएंगी, बातें जाएंगी, बहुत कुछ होगा। इसलिए हम इन बातों से हमारी अवस्था नहीं बिगड़ती है, हम हलचल में नहीं आते हैं।
Om Shanti Avyakti Parivar. Tomorrow is Thursday and our schedule from Amritvela 3:30 a.m. to 4:45 a.m. In the evening 5 to 6 p.m. we will have English Sakar Muli. Together with that in breakout room 5 to 5:15 Avyakti Children Muli class. 6 o'clock Bhatti will start, followed by Bhog offering and Hindi series and English series Avyakti Journey. Welcome to Avyakti Journey. Avyak Murlis from 1969. Multi-million fold fortune and blessings.
Om Shanti. This is the Avyakt Murli of the 23rd of January 1973. 4 pillars to become complete. Are all of you moving along in the effort of making yourselves complete? In order to become complete, you have to imbibe 4 main specialities. Through these, you can easily become an image of perfection. Just as you tell others of the 4 main pillars as the disciplines to become stabilized in a constant state of remembrance, so too, in order to constantly be an image of perfection, these 4 specialities are like pillars. What are they? First, the embodiment of knowledge. Second, the embodiment of virtues. Third, the embodiment of being a great donor. And 4, the embodiment of remembrance, that is, the embodiment of tapasya. By putting all these 4 specialities into yourselves, you can make yourselves the images of perfection. Now, just check whether you are able to experience all these 4 specialities within yourselves in a visible way, and whether others can also see those specialities in you. To be an embodiment of knowledge means that the churning of knowledge should constantly be taking place in your intellect. You should constantly be speaking words of knowledge. In your every action, there should be an embodiment of knowledge. That is, you should be master knowledgeful and a master almighty authority. There should be visions granted of these main images. This is known as being the embodiment of knowledge. In this way, through your thoughts, words, and actions, you should be visible in a practical way as an embodiment of virtues, an embodiment of being a great donor, and of remembrance, that is, an embodiment of tapasya. In the other education, exams are given every 3 months, 6 months, and 9 months, through which you can tell how much everyone has studied. Similarly, because a lot of time has now passed by in the godly study, this special month has therefore been given for you to stay on the pilgrimage of remembrance and check yourself. That is, for you to become your own teacher, your own detached observer, and give yourself your own paper. Now, just the final paper remains. This is why you must look at your result and check yourself. Out of these 4 specialities, which do I lack and to what percentage? In order to pass completely in the final paper, do you think you have all the qualifications? This month is for checking the result. If the percentage is lacking, how would you be able to attain the perfect stage? This is why you should know your own weaknesses and quickly make effort to remove them. Acha, we will continue tomorrow. Om Shanti.
Perform the dance of harmonizing sanskars. Develop a godly nature. Always try to make your behavior, thoughts, words, and deeds such that they give happiness. This is the system of the Brahmin clan. In order to harmonize sanskars, there has to be a meeting of hearts. For this, you will have to forget some things, erase some things, and accommodate some things. Even words such as, "This is my sanskar," should no longer emerge. You have to erase everything to the extent that the nature of the past is changed, and you develop a godly nature.
संस्कार मिलन की रास करो, ईश्वरीय नेचर बनाओ, सदैव यही कोशिश करनी है कि मेरी चलन, संकल्प, वाणी, हर कर्म सुखदायी हो। यह है ब्राह्मण कुल की रीति। संस्कारों को मिलाने के लिए दिलों का मिलन करना पड़ेगा। इसके लिए कुछ भुलाना पड़ेगा, कुछ मिटाना और कुछ समाना पड़ेगा। यह मेरे संस्कार है, यह शब्द भी मिट जाए। इतने तक मिटना है जो पुरानी नेचर बदलकर ईश्वरीय नेचर बन जाए। ओम शांति।